Barber College Success. Brought to you by Craig Charles of Crown Cuts Academy, Bristol, and Crown Cuts Academy, JC. Also, Craig's Crown Cuts downtown Johnson City. Spreading love the Tri-City way is one way that we know, but spreading love the JC way. The Crown, I said that backwards.
You just keep going. Just
spreading love the Crown Cuts way is the only way. Boom. One time for
there's
your
so
mind.
much love going around. There's
so much.
Wherever you at, there's love.
Did you say the Tri-Cities way?
Yeah, I said the Tri-Cities way because students. I gotta.
They get sensitive.
Yeah, I gotta spread love all around. With both schools, one in Bristol, Virginia, one in Johnson City, Tennessee, which borders each other, which is like 40 minutes apart. Yeah, you gotta spread love. You gotta do it the whole way. And my guest, my guy,
Ammi Fields, Ammi your barber. Missed a couple weeks. Thank y'all for keeping it going. Jordan held it down that one day. That's a big step.
Man, you don't even know. I was so nervous.
No, you wasn't. Now.
Yes, I was. I didn't. It seemed like it, that's what I wanted.
I was waiting to put it up on the podcast, but it just now came up. I think either yesterday or the day before yesterday. So I'm gonna listen to it.
Yeah, I listened to it. It was dope.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
He dropped some sauce on the student.
Okay.
He didn't put the student name out there though.
No, I can't.
I was like, Jordan. He's like, yeah, he don't know it was him I was talking about.
Yeah, he's sitting there like this, mad.
Jordan was talking about that time somebody scarred his face up. He said it was bleeding for 3 days. I'm like, Jordan, you mean bleeding for 3 days?
Oh man.
Yeah, but you can't practice on by the students, so that happens at times. Ain't nothing personal.
This is something to learn, man.
Yeah, I got experience. I get cut up by students all the time. It's all right. He grows back.
It goes back.
Not a haircut, but he said he scarred it.
He's scarred.
Deal with that.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Today we got I think it's going to be a good episode. I can just feel it. I can just feel the vibe.
Man. You brought it with you.
I can just feel the vibe. Today we're going to talk about the past week and the experiences that we've had. Because a lot of people just think being a barber is just being behind a chair. That's the only option.
Cut hair, sweep the hair.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But there's so much more. There is so much more. And today we're going to talk about just a week's worth of experience. 3 states. 3 different types of experiences that all brings together just the barbering industry.
Full circle.
Full circle.
And the seeds that you sow in this industry, the industry's smaller than you think.
Yes.
It really is smaller than you think. I mean, it might seem like you're looking around a corner. It might be a barbershop across the street from your barbershop, but it is so small when you get into it.
But the importance is, you're talking about sowing seeds. Where do you begin to sow seeds?
It's in school.
In school.
Day one.
Before that.
Telling people you're going to school.
Yeah. Because your peers in school looking at you. You're looking at your peers. You've seen the ones that you will hire or the ones that you won't hire.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen the students who make excuses, the ones who don't come to school. And you see the ones who want to work hard and come to school and grind and boss out and giving those great haircuts.
You put their head down, go, no matter the circumstances, driving hours to get to school, back and forth.
And don't never complain.
Never.
The ones who just come to school and just like, they might even teach a class because they're so interested in the subject.
I mean, and they're always working. And believe it or not, the chair is always full.
Always full.
For some reason.
I mean, think about that. What does that sound like, Jordan?
What does it sound like? What do you mean? I
mean, just people who just work hard, just sowing seeds in the school.
I mean, it sounds like somebody that wants to be successful in this industry. I mean, that's what's going to take, honestly. To be able to, you just want to have a good start once you first, coming into the barber industry.
And I think a lot of students underestimate that.
Jordan, by the way, I got to share this. Jordan is speaking in Aston Martin radio. So if it sounds, if he's Aston Martin podcast, that's dope.
The mic is Aston Martin.
Yeah, that's crazy.
AM on the front.
Big flex.
Only for me. Only for me. See a big drip on here.
I mean, your Scully to your shirt to your shoes to your Nike.
The Forrest Gump shirt. I got that. That was different.
I got that Cali swag.
Yeah, to that big dog collar on your neck.
Oh yeah, that's a little. Everybody's like, man, that thing's a little tight, ain't it? Yeah, I like it like that though. I don't like the long chain.
You don't like the dookie. You like the real snug and tight.
Is that what you call him, dookie?
Yeah,
the dookie.
Yeah, I definitely don't want no chain that's called a dookie. No, I like them real tight, real clean.
Oh man.
So where you want to start? You want to start off, Craig?
So last week was an exciting week for all of us. We start off like going to Gillette Headquarters. How major is that for Gillette Headquarters?
That's crazy, and it was some experience. Because I mean, never being like to actually get to go to a brand corporation, and Gillette is kind of like the Wonka chocolate factory. Like you have to be clear to go in there. They just don't let anybody else in there.
Right.
You have to be clear to go in there. You have to have a background check, and we got to go just to the front door, and you got to have a whole nother check just to go throughout the facility. So what surprised me most about going to Gillette was the genuineness of the people there.
Right.
Shout out to Mike. The man genuinely cared about what we were there for. He was an engineer. He was not somebody, an event coordinator.
Right.
He was not some PR rep. He actually made product there and designed product, and was just genuinely happy to see us and to give us all the support and love that he could while we were there. And to me, that was amazing because, when you think about corporations, you don't think about genuineness so much.
You think more people are more selfish.
Exactly. And I hate to stereotype him like that because Mike was such a great guy, but you think about people that are kind of singularly focused on advancement of their product, not so much focused on the Confess project,
right.
A nonprofit that's out to help, Black men and give them, let them know what mental health is. And they were just so genuinely awesome.
And that's the importance, again, sowing seeds and building relationships.
Yeah.
Because most of us just think, when I started barbering, I couldn't even envision myself being represented by a brand like Gillette, and nevertheless going to the facility.
And then also it speaks to the fact of you being yourself, just being who you are. If you have an idea and you genuinely believe in that idea and you're trying to do things the right way, somebody will help you. Somebody will pick it up. Somebody will be like, this is a good thing. Whether it be Gillette or just, the coffee shop beside you, just start where you're at, believe in it and work towards it. And don't worry about what you're going to get out of it. The candies of the world, as Craig trying to say.
That's a great quote.
Yeah.
I forgot. What was that quote?
You're new to this. It's a candy world.
Oh, man.
We can sell that one. We can sell that one on SoundCloud.
Yes. That might be a title for a song.
It should be the title for this podcast.
You're new to this. It's a candy world.
Oh man.
That's big.
Jordan still
decipher.
Did you figure it out?
Yeah. That's why I said It took me a second. I got it.
Craig started talking parables.
He started to get too wise. He's trying to come up with his own.
That's when you know he reached a level of enlightenment. Everything you say is he's like Yoda.
No, not yet. I mean, hey, through your experiences, through your travels and your experiences, that happens.
Yeah.
And my journey from being a barber from day one, it was a passion, and I put a lot of love into it. So that's what we talk about when you're a student. Put love into it. Make it your passion. Care about this enough. It was a really great experience because it's never envisioned in my barber journey. I didn't see myself going to a big brand like that and being able to be represented by a company. Those things is not made for barbers. You think it's made for musicians, but people notice when you give your passion. And my passion is barbering. People notice that. So when you give your all to your passion, someone will notice. Someone will put you on that spotlight to be like, you know what? I want you to be part of me. So that's why you have to start off really strong when you're in school. Don't miss classes. Don't miss days. Give your all. Support your students. Don't be that negative influence in the classroom or on the floor. Barbering can take you a long way. It's valuable. Something that's a learned skill that if you don't put your time into it, understand it's a process.
I didn't really, and it's like you said, you don't know what you don't know. And you if you're narrow-minded going into school, which some people are, people just see barbering as a job. You really got to open your mind up. That's the first thing that you need to work on doing. I mean, whether it be looking at people on social media or going to like a hair show.
Right. And invest into it.
Yeah, but even that, like compared to what we've been doing, even that is not enough to prepare you for what's possible. So
what's ahead?
exactly. So you got to always have an open mind. I want to do a good haircut. Like that was my first thing I ever wanted to do. And then I went to Barberville in Charlotte, and I met.
That's what really changes you after you go to your first barber
Hair show. Yeah.
And then I went there, and there was this little like skinny, short guy there who was like, he was a kid. He was like 19 years old, and I'm like, who is this kid? And this kid gets on stage and he starts so like the man, he spoke so confidently, and it was so serious about what he was doing. And I'm like, how can me being 24, 25 in my later getting towards the more adult stage of my life, not be taking something serious?
Right.
And that guy ended up being Vic Blintz before he became, who he is now. He's still this person he was then now, but he had a vision for himself.
He paced himself. He started off the race the right way.
And then I meet Craig Charles, and Craig Charles has a vision for himself, and has continued to grow and elevate his vision. And seeing these people do that, it only gives me so much energy to see that. Like, as long as I put my head down and I'm working hard, and knowing that I'm working hard and giving back, that's also the most important part, is giving back, then you're going to be blessed.
Right. Give your all to this industry.
Yeah.
Give your all to this industry. You'll be blessed. You will be rewarded. And people kind of, they don't understand that part. They again, and like I said in the previous podcast, some people just want to work on their strengths.
Yeah.
And do one thing and be a one-trick pony. This industry is so broad. Learn all the skills that you can while you're in the industry, while you're learning in school. Learn all the skills, from a perm to bleaching to shear cutting,
waxing,
to waxing,
nails,
everything. Boss out the whole curriculum, because I still believe you boss out the whole curriculum, that will elevate your salary to the next level. You talking about, you go to school and you learn that tech from the first page to the last page, and learn it, not study it just to pass the test. Study and grasp everything in that book to learn it and keep it. I think you will be real close to six figures when you come out of school.
Especially in nowadays barbering industry, as far as like the demand and the ability to grow financially and with your skills as well. There's no reason, if you're really working, there's no reason why you shouldn't make the money that you want to make. And the only person stopping you is you. If you're really trying to get it, like I talked to a guy last night, and I was like, man, I gotta go to work. I got stuff to do tomorrow for barbering. And he's like, oh, my barber don't do that on this day. And I'm like, well, man, I'm not your barber, man. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get it. If he ain't, talk to him and text me and say, hey, you need to go get it, because he might need that,
And that's what I think where a lot of barbers get burnt out, and they don't reap the benefits of this industry. Because you hear a lot of people say, oh, I want to do barbering time. It's gonna be my part. It's gonna be my side gig. To reap the benefits of barbering, you have to put your all into it.
100%. And I get it. Like, I see the appeal of, I see like, I don't fault y'all from it, because I can see the appeal of waking up, kissing your family goodbye, going home, going to work, and then going home, and then that's your routine. and like, like, you're not worried about the extracurricular. You're just trying to put some money in your pocket to take care of your family. I respect that. I love that. And I envy it sometimes, but I'm just there's so much more I feel like I need to see before I can get to that point, before I can say, all right, I'm sit back, let me watch the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's so much more I need to go get now. And there's this fire in me that I just can't let go. And I got to do it. And I don't know how. I wish I could put that into everybody listening. If I wish I could put what I feel into you. And that's kind of the reason we do this podcast, is so that you get inspired. But I have something in me that I can't cut off, and I won't cut it off until I get to where I feel like I need to get, and I ain't close yet. So I support.
I don't think you ever would.
Honestly. You know what I'm saying?
If you have a job like that, you feel like you're just gonna keep on growing. We always want to do better than what you're doing. So I feel like there's always gonna be like a nonstop passion. We just want to get better or something.
And I hope that's how it is.
Yeah, and that's how it should be, honestly.
But going back to the Gillette now, that was a great event. That was a great several hours. We got there like at 9 o'clock. We left at like 5.
and everybody was engaged. And,
Everyone is engaged.
and that's another thing. Oh, okay. Another awesome thing. As far as like event coordinating, like we got some event coordinating experience, which I've never done that. Like we had to give a presentation to a major corporation.
Mhm.
We had to set the room up. Small things like that. You don't think about how can the room be better, more economical for people there.
Yep.
You know, doing the presentation, the music, needed music for the presentation. You know, and then actually
working on the equipment, working on the mics, the mic check.
Things that you don't think about,
right?
But prepares you for something else. Maybe like if you want to do a show or something, things that little intricacies that you normally wouldn't think about that you need when you're presenting something to somebody.
And the headquarters now, I think we need to kind of break it down to the headquarters. The headquarters, you have artifacts from the 1900s, early 1900s, when some of the first, like 1890 something, some of the first artifacts they had for shaving.
Yeah, and as soon as you walk in, it's like a museum, and they have like a timeline built upon the museum. And as you walk down, you can see all the difference in changings in shaving throughout the years, which is of course what they're focused on. So it's really cool to see that.
That is dope. I wish I was able to go.
I mean,
dang, I wish I was able to go.
I mean, we can get the next one. Well, there's the cafeteria, there's a gym. So this is just not just no Rudy Poot, just put together building on the side. This is a major 60,000 square feet building, which is overlooking like the harbor.
And it's cool because everything that they need to work there, they got everything. A gym, they got a barber shop. Of course, they got a barber shop in there for you to get your hair cut. They got they got coffee, food. You don't even need to leave the building for real. I mean, I'm sure they probably got beds in there somewhere.
And the thing is that they had swag bags for all the barbers.
I'm sorry, I was getting excited.
Swag bag for all the so a bag with things just like gifts.
Oh, they gave you all the Bronze Series now and shit.
You see his face.
They gave you them, didn't they? Oh man!
But not only, but and razors. Those razors are like $20 a razor.
Yes, and another cool thing about the Gillette razors was they realized that there was a need for people in the shaving community that got sensitive skin or got bumps and got irritated. So Gillette, instead of creating a razor to shave as close as they can, created a razor for people that have sensitive skin to shave and it not cut as close. So because when you shave your face, they're trying to get that close shave, and it's actually ripping the cuticle up to cut it closer. And they realized that was hurting some people with sensitive skin. So the razor they designed puts pressure against your face so it doesn't cut as close, but you're able to still shave your face. So it was really cool
to get that smooth shave.
Yeah.
And the fun thing is they brought an engineer down, another engineer, just to give us a presentation on those razors.
The guy that created it.
Yeah, how it's made, why it's made, and gave us like a big spiel, like a click, move the screen over, and just having all this information on it. It's like, wow. So when we talk about barbers, it's way more than just sitting behind the chair. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Like a CEO and investor, while a guy was sitting there explaining
being the best that you can be.
Yeah.
And starting from day one, and people recognize you to take you to that next level, to give you the opportunity just to be in some circles that you might not even have the opportunity or the chance to. But it starts from the beginning. It starts from day one, going to class, giving your all, opening that book, watching videos, working on your craft, being the best that you can be. I didn't take that from Gillette. I'm just saying, just being real. Being the best that you can be while you're in school. Make the first day like your last, and make the last day like your first. And then make your school experience your everything. Because it's more than just fading.
And that's what I tell the students too. Like when they come there, I'm like, I can teach you how to fade in 10 minutes. I don't need a lot of time to teach you how to fade.
Easy.
It doesn't take a lot of time to learn how to fade. But the rest of the stuff, I'm still learning. The financial literacy, the marketing, the networking part, all that stuff is way more important than just learning a haircut. A haircut is just a haircut. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys that are successful in the barber industry that don't even cut hair anymore.
Right.
They start off cutting hair because that's the journey they had to take to get respected, but they don't even cut hair anymore. And it's just, you just have to take the first thing that you do. I can't remember who it was. There was a famous civil rights movement or famous, slave rider. He ran away from his plantation, and he heard of a place where they taught slaves how to read. And he showed up and he knocked on the door. He said, I want to learn how to read. The woman there gave him a mop, a bucket, and a broom, and she left. She said nothing to him. She came back the next morning. What do you think happened, Jordan?
I learned how to read. Or talk English. Yeah.
She came home to a spotless building and a kid that was asleep on the broom and the brush and the bucket because he worked all night to clean that building. And she said, okay, now you can learn how to read. That person had to prove to the woman that he wanted to learn how to read. If you show up to a barber school and you can't even sweep your under your chair,
Your station,
sweep your floor under your chair,
clean up after yourself.
Just stuff that you've done, not even the rest of the building, just what you've done, you're not going to be successful. If you're not doing the work on the sheet that said, hey, clean the bathroom, and if you can't do that, you can't run a shop. Who's going to clean your bathroom when you have a shop? You can't expect your barbers to do it. I mean, yes, I mean, they should want to, but if it's your shop, you should be the first one cleaning it.
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, lead by example. So when you lead by example, everyone else follows.
For sure.
Because you in there, there's nothing that you should be doing in the shop that your employees can't do.
You can't ask me something to do something if you want to do it yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Point blank. So the experience was so amazing. What did you get away from it, Ammi?
The sky's the limit, man. Like the sky is the limit. Like being there, I mean, goes past the possibilities of being a brand representative.
Right.
I could come up with a product.
Yes.
I can market my, you know what I'm saying? I could market my product to a corporation.
Because they were also asking for suggestions.
Yeah. The guy that's an engineer, the engineer, the guy that's an engineer, you know, he created this razor and he's presented to us and he said he felt uncomfortable for a little bit. He said he gets nervous speaking to professionals.
Right. And he made it, but we are.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. A lot of times when we're in school, we don't think of ourselves as that professional.
Mm-hmm.
We don't think of ourselves in the high esteem. And that may be the problem. We have to start thinking of ourselves in the highest of the highest esteem.
When I think about barbers, I think about barber surgeons. Right. That's the first thing I think about. We was doctors.
And I know, and we try to push that message even with the dress, with the professional image, that side. And a lot of times the students buck the system. Like, oh, why I gotta dress up? I have to do this. Because we want you to set an example for yourself and your community.
And it's sad too. Like, I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's just sad because like if you're thinking that putting a tie on makes you not yourself, then you're wrong thinking, because your clothes don't make you either. Because people are gonna have perceptions about your clothes either way.
Right.
So you know, Jordan and Toboggan and your black t-shirt, you know, if my perception of him was negative because of his clothes, then that's wrong.
Right.
Either way, it doesn't matter. So if you're thinking that having a tie on is wrong, then and that's not you, you're still you if you're naked.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So none of that should matter. Oh, sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
But in a sense, professional image is the way to go for a business.
Oh, okay. When you're presenting yourself to anybody, you want to give off the perception that you're a professional.
Because the first impression is
the most important.
Why do you think that, Jordan?
The first important.
Make that Aston Martin mic scene.
Yeah.
Well, I think the first impression is the most important.
Yeah.
It's because that's like the foundation of every relationship, I guess you could say. Because when you first meet somebody, when you look at them, I mean, the way they look, I feel you look like they're dressed trashy. I mean, it's kind of hard not to judge somebody, you know what I'm saying? But you know, you say you don't want to judge anybody, but everybody always judges somebody, even though you like. But I mean,
but the key thing that you said is the foundation.
Yeah.
The foundation of all relationships, the first impression. And if we're talking about in our industry saying the consultation was the most important thing of the haircut, that's the foundation of a relationship. Mm-hmm. That's the foundation of the first perception.
Because I'm listening into what y'all are saying. I'm over here I don't have anything to say because you know,
you have a lot to say, Jordan.
I mean, I do, but I don't.
Why don't you?
Because I feel like I still need to experience a little more.
You're experiencing. You're doing it. You're here. This is experience.
You're right.
There's nothing more experiencing than right now.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's what the podcast is. And that's why you're so intricate and important for this podcast, because you're the closest from school, from graduating. So people need to hear your insight and see, you know what? And Jordan can say, you know what? This is the mistake I made. This is how I can see it differently. This is how I could have done it differently. This is why I want to do it differently. And this is why I want to go to propel myself to do something better. So that's the importance of you. I mean, all three of us are intricate in this podcast, but you being the closest one to graduating from school, 4 months, 5 months, 6.
How long you been out of school?
8 months. And the things that you had to learn and the struggles that you had even a month in, 2 months in, 3 months in, 4 months out of school, 5 months, not 8 months, because most students' perception is that they want to boss out this industry in their first 3 months of school. for 6 months while in school. But here you're talking about you're 8 months out of school, and there's still things you need to learn. And students need to hear that, to understand that, hey, this 12 months of school is going to go so fast, but there's so much more to learn after those 12 months. And if you don't give your all while you're there, you stunting your growth. You delaying your growth. That's all you're doing. When you don't give your all, you are delaying your growth.
You only hurt yourself. That's all. That's a cliche. Like when I remember we work out in the gym, I had a trainer, and he's like, you could, you just not do some push-ups when I'm walking away and I ain't looking at you, but who you hurting? You ain't hurting me. You hurt yourself. You make yourself, you putting yourself behind.
So the experience, getting back to the lecture at hand. So the experience on Monday, that was a big week for us. That was major. And again, students, there's more to this journey in this industry than just sitting behind the chair and cutting. And if you not being a well-rounded student, you're just setting yourself up just to be behind the chair. And behind the chair is great, but enjoy the industry on a whole.
Yeah.
And I didn't have these conversations when I first started. I didn't know about what the industry has to offer when I first started being a barber. And I still loved my job. And the journey I'm on is still great because I made so many friends along the way and made so many connections. But those connections and the journey could be a whole lot sweeter if you do it a little earlier. Mm-hmm. There's opportunities for you all around.
And low-hanging fruit, like you say, just the hair cutting is a low-hanging fruit. It's an important, essential part of growth, but that's just the basic of the basic part of it. Standing behind a chair. There's to elevate yourself. There's so much more that you could put into this. There's even stuff that we don't even think about doing that you could go do. I mean, there's stuff that is so much untapped potential because barbering has been around forever. It's been around since the beginning of time, but this is 2022. What can you add to the future of barbering? What can you add?
It's major. It's big.
I can see Jordan doing like barber designer clothes.
I mean,
I've thought about it.
But that's the thing.
Don't think about it. Do it.
But that's the thing. And I tell students all the time, this is where you have the most time in school. It's innocent and you'll have some dead time. So when there's dead time, you should be thinking about something that you can create. A product that you can co-create with a student. Come up with 2 or 3 of your friends and just have like a little support group, or a little session, a thinking session, an idea session, and throw ideas at each other. And I guarantee something will come up between 2, 3, or 4 friends. Go in the classroom and say, hey, let's just write down ideas on a piece of paper and see which one come up with the best idea, and let's attack it. And then go to the instructor and say, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to try. Because at that time, it'll be the easiest time to have a case study because that's when you have more students around you.
Yeah.
So you can do a trial and error. You can come up with a product and have your students in your school sample it.
And inspiration is a fleeting thing. Like if you don't act upon inspiration, it'll go away and you'll lose it. If you don't, like whenever you have something happen, you need to go ahead and put something in motion.
That mic right there is tough, Jordan.
It is tough.
He want to use it now. He's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna switch over.
What does beat sound like in the mic?
I know you want that picture.
Yeah, yes.
But think about this, right? So this helps your marketing, helps your brand, because people just don't need to see you just cutting hair. Mm-hmm. They see you on a mic, so you're more than a barber. So you're telling a story. You're interesting now.
And I took that for granted until you really, because I'm all about trying to be humble. You know what I'm saying? Like I try to be as humble as I can, especially to this industry. And like Craig really had to break it down for me. He was like, you're a traveling educator. Said, yeah, you're an instructor. I said, yeah, you're right. He said, you're a podcast. You're a mogul. I'm like, you're right. You don't really think about those things because I've really just been doing it. But when you sit back and take in all that we've accomplished, and then explain that and tell that to people, that inspires other people. And it's not gloating. No. It's not saying, hey, look at me. It's like, you could do it too, and just put your best foot forward.
But you're making your industry fun. You're making your industry so fun. And that's when it begins to just, you wake up every day and like, I want to go to work. I can't wait for this new exciting journey I'm going to be on. I can't wait to meet this new client and have this new conversation, great conversation every day, every hour, every 30 minutes. And you make it into a game where when you meet people, you kind of grab the information and make it yours.
And then you try to, and if you know the book and are educated in your craft, you can give them information as well.
Yes.
And help them physically and, you know.
And that's where that comes in, just knowing the book like from the front to the back. Because that right there is an easy way to start your consultation.
If you could just solve a problem for a client, I mean, you don't have to get the best haircut. You help them solve a problem that they have, they're going to stick with you. They're going to be with you for a long time.
And just going to the headquarters, open up your eyes so much, because now you can dream. That's like a little kid who's being introduced to a fire truck on a field trip.
Yeah.
Or go to a skyscraper on a field trip. Now they can dream.
It's like you can touch it.
Now you can touch it. You can see
it's
it.
Real. You know it's obtainable. You've seen it.
And barbers need those experiences. They need to think outside the box and need those experiences while you start your journey. And then that's when ideas come to you and you can co-create and add things to your industry that solve a problem. Because you could use your brand, you could use your industry, your job, your work to solve a problem. And that's when you begin to have income that's just coming to you on the next level.
And the residual income, the passive income.
You're solving problems. And that's what I think barbers underestimate. How can you solve problems with your industry? Not just cutting hair. We understand that's the low hanging fruit. That's the easy part. You're already solving that problem. What else can you add to it?
It's a lot.
What else can you add to it?
Off the top of my head, to think of one, and I'm going to go ahead and say it on the mic and address it. I feel like the barber industry is almost hurting itself when it comes to social media by putting unnecessary pressure on new barbers to make them feel like that they got to be perfect when people aren't perfect themselves.
And that's a great point. Making barbers feel like they have to be there right now.
Them lines have to be perfect. You got to push that man back to get his line perfect.
But the thing is, too, that perfect haircut took 20 years. And here you are 2 months in, and you're trying to create that perfect haircut. It took a million different tries.
15 years.
A million different tries. And here you are on 150 in your journey of being a barber in school, and you expect to give that same. That's too much pressure on yourself. Relax.
Yeah.
That is way too much pressure on yourself. A million tries. And now I got this perfect haircut. I'm going to put it on there, and people are salivating. How can I get my cuts to look just like that? Repetition, practice, patience, time. And that's it.
You stir it up, and then you got a successful, perfect haircut. But that doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, repetition, practice, patience, time, and understand
Commitment.
That's part of your journey. You have to be able to tell a story how you got to that point.
I think that's been the coolest thing. Like, that's another thing that's cool in Boston. Joshua Barber, who was sponsored by Gillette, got an opportunity to share his story.
Yes.
And it was such a unique story. And I think that's the coolest thing about meeting these people. Everybody has their own journey.
Everybody has a story to tell.
Especially barbers, because it took somewhat of a leap, a great investment, whether you were a high schooler coming out of high school when they're like, oh, you're crazy, you should go to college, or you were, 45 years old, had a career, and decided that you didn't like it.
But that journey and to tell a story comes with experience and just doing things over and over again, and sometimes failing at some things.
Yeah. That's the greatest power you can get from the barbers industry. It's like that is the number one most powerful thing you could ever take from this, is that you know what it feels like to be bad at something. And that you could take time and grow it.
And I think that's a great point. And I'm going to elaborate on that, because everybody wants to be good instantly when they start doing something. Everybody wants to be good instantly when you start a new trade, a new skill. And then that wall comes up when you get defeated. That wall comes up when you're having a tough time. It's okay. And one of the biggest things that people fear as adults is failing. But you're trying a new skill. You are going to fail, and it's okay. You are trying a new skill. It's a learned skill. You're not going to boss it out right away. And that's when the insecurities come out, when you don't boss it out, when you don't do your best on the first try. It takes repetition. If it was easy, everyone would be in this industry trying it. Because one of the first things you hear people say about, I want to be a barber, but I don't want to mess people up.
Every time.
It's okay.
Every time.
I don't want to mess people up. But that is okay. It's a new skill that you're trying, and you are going to fail. But failing is just helping you do it better. Failing is just helping you see it unrefined. Because in order to have to do something really great, and you haven't done it before, you have to get there. You have to understand how to get there. And the only way to understand how to get there is you're going to mess it up. It's not going to look good. But the great thing is, hey, you understand how to fix it. The great thing is, it gives you repetition how to do it better. The great thing is, it gives you opportunity to render yourself. It gives you opportunity to make it up to yourself. And it's okay if you do it the first, second, and third time. It doesn't come out right. You just started. Give yourself some time and celebrate the small victories when you're in school.
You remember how you kept yourself motivated in school, Jordan, when you first started cutting?
I was never really scared of. I mean, I was scared to mess up when I first started. But after I figured out that if I didn't try it, or at least try to do it, then I felt like I wasn't going to grow. So as soon as I learned that it's okay to mess up, that's when I really started celebrating. Like, because after a while, once you mess up, you'll probably find out a way to fix that mess up, even if you mess up. But once you do that one time, most of the time you're not going to do it again. So now that I'm still doing it right now. I try new haircuts all the time. Like, I try to do different things. I try new fading systems, and I find out what I like and what I don't like. So it's kind of just, it's helped me grow a lot faster. Just being okay with messing up. That's all it is. And I might not even be messing up. It's just,
it's an experience.
It's the experience. You just gotta do it.
It's an experience. You learn how to do it better. You learn how to do it good. There's nothing such. Let me take that. Let me rephrase that. I don't think when you start something new, there's nothing such as failure when you're practicing. You're not failing when you're practicing. There's no word failure in practicing.
That's that Thomas Edison quote where he said he was getting interviewed by a newscaster, and he's like, how do you feel about failing 999 times and making a light bulb? He said, I didn't fail 999 times. I learned 999 times how to not make a light bulb.
And that's what it is. And that's how it is in school.
Yeah.
That's how it is in school. You learn how to refine your skill. Mm-hmm. And eventually your skill is going to be adequate for yourself and the people who you're trying to please. But you constantly learn. That's why it's called continuing education. That's part of it. You have to continue to enhance your skill and get better.
It's just like Miss Dell. She's been cutting hair for like what?
30
plus years, and she says
almost
she's still
40.
learning. And she's still learning. She's
still writes
gonna
out
learn
yeah.
until the day you die.
It's part of it. I can't wait to talk about coding and barbering. But we're gonna leave that for the next episode.
I was gonna say, explain it. Can you at least let them know what happened?
Well, we're gonna whet the appetite.
All right.
So what they have to
do. Yeah, coding and barbering. I went to this conference on Saturday. So Monday started off great at Gillette. Saturday I went to a conference in Atlanta. And Gillette's in Boston, by the way. Saturday I went to this conference, NABBA. And this guy gave a presentation on coding and barbering. And I was trying to figure out, how does that even come together? But it blew my mind. And we'll talk about it in the next podcast. What do you think?
think I want to go ahead and talk about it.
I mean,
no, you good. You good.
We gonna whet the appetite.
Yeah. No, man. Like it just keeps going. It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
We're just blessed full circle, and and then seeing Craig get blessed, seeing Jordan gets blessed. That's what it's all about, man. To celebrate everybody's blessings, and to be there for them. And that's another thing. Like, you need to have a network. You need to, have a fellowship with some other barbers so that you can celebrate each other's victories and not bring each other down. Because too long was there the stigma of that shop, this shop. It's not like that. We're all trying to get it. There's plenty of haircuts,
and we all can get it.
We all can get it together. We can walk. We hold hands, walk through it together.
So next week I'll talk about this experience at this conference I went to, how I met this lady from this area. And
this lady
from she's a really important lady in this industry, and we'll talk about the connection that we have. And I didn't realize it, but she's part of this industry, and we read the book that she's the VP for.
You gotta save it. You gotta
every day. And I'll talk about the guy who invented the vericidal antibacterial H42 clean clippers formula. I'll talk about that guy too as well. But we had a dope podcast today. I felt the energy from the beginning. I knew it was going to be electric. And I just hope that we just continuously bless you guys and drop gems for you guys, because this is important. This is important for us as well, because we learn and grow from the podcast, and we love you guys' feedback. I mean, this is big. I love coming on Mondays and just talking, just talking about what we love.
Yeah, like today, you were like, I didn't hear from you today. Are you still coming? I'm coming. If I don't say I ain't coming, I'm coming. Jordan the same way.
Yeah, I mean, but it's fun. I mean, I look forward to it. I get excited. I get excited to come to the studio.
Mondays is the day.
Yeah, it gives you another. I mean, for me, it gives me another, alternative besides just cutting hair all the time.
Start your week off right.
Yeah, start your week off right. I like it. Yeah. I'm definitely glad I've been on this podcast. It's definitely a blessing.
So let me ask you a question. So, what is your coworkers thinking about you being on the podcast?
A lot of them actually. Kobe, I've been trying to get Kobe to get in there. He said, "Oh man, I might try to get on there, man." I was like, "You gonna think you gonna cover?" He's like,
Kobe's been in the podcast, I think,
one time, but I haven't really asked Jonathan. I feel like Jonathan would like it too.
I asked Jonathan. Jonathan said he would want to come.
Yeah, because I've had a lot of friends that want to do it too, like my close friends. Yeah,
they want
to come on here and talk.
For real?
Yeah, like one of my friends, Michael, he plays basketball at King College. So he was like, "What's it about?" I said, "Man, we just talk about barbering and life experiences and motivational." He said, "Oh man," he said, "I want to do stuff. Like I want to talk about that type of stuff because it can relate. It's relatable stuff." Like,
I mean, barbering can relate to so many things. And like I said, when the guys doing this presentation talking about barbering and coding, and how kids are gravitating towards it, I was like, "What? I can't wait to talk about that. I can't wait to tell Emma." You see how excited I was.
To start with that,
I was trying to be, but it's so off the wall for me that I was trying to process what he was saying. Like, code, he's doing certain. Scissor.
Yeah, code in. Yeah, it's big. I can't wait to talk about it next week. We're gonna really just explode your mind when it comes to that. Yeah, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. But again, so what you like about the podcast today? Would you? It seems like we just I like that.
What?
Fellowship. And seeing that Astromeyer microphones read that
way. Today's been more of like a listening talk. I'm just sitting back and listening type,
So what you think about? What'd you pick up? You said you was listening.
Man, I picked up that, freaking, what's the word I'm thinking of? Freaking, not freaking. Dang. Well, relationships in general are important. Very like connections, talking to people, meeting new people. And I wish I would really want to been on that ship. I would love going for sure.
Hey, the next one when we tell you just gotta be prepared.
But that's all right. But when I come back from California, I'm gonna tell you about my experience.
Oh yeah. Okay. See, that's there. There it is.
Because I'm actually getting cut by Vince the Barber, the one that cuts NBA players and stuff. And I'm gonna talk to him about business and how he got where he's at, and it's gonna be dope.
It's gonna be big. That's gonna be big. Barber College Success brought to you by Craig Charles of Crown Cuts Academy JC and Crown Cuts Academy Bristol. Spreading love the Tri-City ways is one way, but spreading love the Crown Cuts way is the only way. And my co-host himself to the right and my left.
Am I Fields? Am I your barber?
Jordan Barr _52 on Instagram.
Yes, we're gonna keep the 5-star reviews coming. We love them. Keep them coming. That motivates us just to give you guys more and just keep doing more research. We love our followers. We love our fans. Go check us out. My guy Mitch, if it wasn't for him, this wouldn't even be possible. So we got to give him a shout out.
You got to get Mitch on here one time.
Yeah.
That would be easy.
Yeah, Mitch, we just got to turn around and just grab a mic, Mitch. Mitch is the studio engineer who makes this podcast possible from Maypop Media. Shout it out. If you want to get on the podcast, Mitch can get you right. You don't have to be in the studio. He can Zoom you in and get your podcast going. He will hit you up. Call him. Mitch, what's your phone number if anybody wants to get start a podcast with you? 801 589 9089. Hit my guy Mitch up and he'll get you right. Tell you how to start a podcast, how to get it going. Because I know a lot of people out there want to start one, but just don't know how to. And if you have questions on how to start one, also call myself or Ammi. Hit us up. We'll give you some of our feedbacks. We'll tell you what worked for us, what didn't work, and how to get going. And I mean, one tip I think worked is, you get yourself a co-host, because the co-host makes the podcast flow.
It takes pressure off you, I think, for sure. To keep conversation going and moving.
Yeah, get the co-host. It makes the podcast flow, which is kind of good. And now we got a third Mr. Co-host. Hey, he's doing his thing.
I'm trying to do my thing, man. You
got the Austin Martin mic. You got the top car in the game.
Yeah, I know you're gonna have this one next podcast.
Oh no, I like the swivel. I like that too. I mean, you special too, Jay.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Did you get a picture like this, Mitch, for us? Oh, good. I mean, I think it's amazing. Yeah, this guy right here with his Austin Martin mic. Major, big.
Yeah, it's a Mike Drake using the song.
That's what it is.
He recorded in the song.
Yep. But again, spreading love the JC way is one way. Spreading love the Tri-City way is the other way. But spreading love the only way is the Crown Cuts way. Shout out.